Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the dmetalgalaxy YouTube channel. So for tonight, we have a very hot from the oven interview. As today, Glimmering Veil is going to be released, and also our special guest is Aplha and Omega. He's the first person we have interviewed since we started the lockdown program, and he's also our last interview this year. Alex from Superstatic. So grab your booze and enjoy this interview. So I'm giving now the word to Rustam so he can introduce himself in one sentence about himself and the band.
Hi, I'm Rustam, also known as Alex, the lead singer and the composer of band Superstatic.
Great, thank you.
So, how are you doing this year, like comparison to when we had interview like a year and a half ago? So, what has changed since then?
Well, it's almost exactly the same. I changed job. Now I have the new one, but I'm still working from home, and everything else is the same. I released an album since then.
So the album was premiered a few hours ago on the Solitude Productions. So how do you think people had received it?
I went there and I read the chat. Some people were impressed. Also, there were like 70 likes and 1 dislike, so that's a success.
Okay.
Someone cared to put a dislike there. That's a good thing.
Or
so I think people liked it.
Or you wanted to put a like and he accidentally mistook it and put a thumb down.
Well, when this kind of things happens, that means that people actually took effort to actively state their position. Because if I don't like something, I just ignore it and just close the window and that's it. But if someone just put the dislike, then it's good. I made that person uncomfortable.
And he made an interaction with the person.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go about your talents. You are a man with many talents. What things you wanted to explore in this album, and do you think you succeeded in doing this?
In this album, I wanted to deepen the horror themes compared to the first album. This time, it's not a it's not a concept album. Now all the songs are separate and they're based on different sources, and I used samples from some of the sources creatively, not just putting it there. Also, it just happened that this album sound is darker, so darker vocals would fit better. So I have some guttural growls, so it's less harsh than the previous album, less black metal, more doom. That's it.
Interesting. From my perspective, I've listening to the older and this album, I found it heavier and much more atmospheric for some reason.
Yeah, that's because I used more keyboards in this album, more samples, more keyboards, more weird effects on the guitars, on the clean guitars, for instance.
Interesting. So, I will have another look after this information.
And can you run us through the music creation process? Like, what do you do first? Like, do you write lyrics first, or the music, or it depends?
It's different every time. So with Remember Citadel, it started with a riff. I just was playing bass and I invented a riff. I recorded it. And after that already, I came up with the idea what the song is going to be about. Also, I decided that this song must be exactly 17 minutes and 23 seconds long. And only after that, I started actually composing it using the first riff. As for other songs, for instance, House They Got, it was the idea first, so I knew what it must be about, and that formed the whole sound. So it must sound like that. I knew that there must be a choir, and I had no idea how to do this first. So I thought I would record myself like 100 times for the choir, but then I went the other way. I just synthesized the choir.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the choir that actually sings the lyrics. It's not just or O.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And
Interesting.
That's for different songs, different ways. It's not like some schedule. So but mostly the lyrics usually come last for Superstatic, not for other my projects, but for Superstatic, usually music is done and then the lyrics is done. But again, with House They Got, it was different because I already had lyrics, because it's a part of a document from the game Morrowind. Act disappeared.
Yeah, looks like that.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so I know that Ag helped you with designing the album, putting the CD booklet together. So my next question was for her. So we're gonna give her a moment. Hi, Ag.
Hi.
Ag, I was going to ask you about the way you helped Rustam with the CD. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure, that's the reason I disappeared. I was like, not wanting. No, like it was interesting. Like, so what I did was the artwork layout with my company at mer.mer. So basically, Rustam had already an idea about the album in which direction. So what I did was help to visualize this vision, just to put it on paper. So basically, what happened, I got drawings and so on. It was like a nice collaboration, because Rustam had a clear vision, and it's interesting as a designer to understand what Rustam wants to embody with this album, and from this information to make the album and do the layout. And one interesting thing about the artwork was that Rustam asked me to use papyrus paper. Am I right, Rustam?
Yeah.
And every paper had to be different. And then we had like lengthy discussions. And Rustam was really good, because we had like a very open conversations, what he wanted, what I thought what to do. And we found like a middle way also about the front and everything. So it was a really nice collaboration. And I think when you open the booklet, you will see that there is a lot of dedication, but as well care and consideration to this album. So yeah, overall a really great collaboration.
I'd like to add something. So the pictures for the artwork were created by Jane Dixon, and all the text is just my handwriting.
That's nice.
Yeah, the handwriting.
There plays the Jane for awesome pictures.
Yeah.
Actually, do you have the album maybe close to you? Can you show us?
Nope. You should have warned me. So it's somewhere else.
Hidden. It's just a surprise for those to discover it. It will be a nice welcome present.
Well, so everyone saw the picture I posted with the album.
Yeah, we shared it as well.
Actually, yeah, the picture. So I was wondering about the 7-point star on the CD itself. And I've seen it before, well, simpler version on the Umbral Presence Kaileti album. So I'm wondering what is the meaning of the symbol and why you used it there as well?
Also, the same star is on the Rakot Jabberworks CD, on the CD itself, not in the booklet, but on the CD.
Mhm.
And I have a necklace with this 7-point star and the eye in the middle. And I'm not going to explain it. It's very personal and occult.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
So speaking also about album and artwork, so you asked me specifically to create papyrus paper and make every page different, and I'm wondering why papyrus and how does it fit in the concept that you had for this album?
Well, that was supposed to mean like some old documents found somewhere in a cave maybe, and someone would read through them and see like uneven writing with maybe some errors. There are some errors which I made intentionally there, and if someone wants to check, like they'll see like. So that was for added horror effect.
Interesting idea.
Also, as far as I remember, one of our Rakot albums also had the handwriting, but not mine. It was our guitarist D. It was the Tiny Deaths album.
Mm-hmm.
And
So we have a comment here from Jane. Don't ever make me to try to draw the 7-point star again.
Okay, Jane.
Was that hard to do?
Well, initially in 1998, I drew it for the first time myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really hard, actually.
But like, where did you get idea from?
As I mentioned, I'm not going to explain.
Okay, I'll stop.
It's a secret that he's going to take into his grave, like
mystery of the ages.
And
yes,
then
we're going to see it in the next albums, right?
Sorry?
We're going to see it in the next albums, I suppose.
I don't know. You didn't see it on the previous album, so maybe not. I don't know.
And I'm wondering the paper. So why did you choose like papyrus, specifically like papyrus, and not something else?
Yeah, as I said, it was supposed to be like if some archaeologists went into some ancient cave and found the chest, open it, and there were documents written by some ancient someone, they would look like that. Otherwise, like if it's paper, it cannot be ancient. If it's a papyrus, it can be ancient. So
exactly. And why the ancient touch for this album?
Actually, I now realize that idea was actually taken from the song House Dagon, because the original lyrics in House Dagon was a papyrus with a text found in Morrowind. So the whole booklet must be made like that.
So we should play Morrowind.
Morrowind is the Elder Scrolls Part 3. That's my favorite Elder Scroll game. You wouldn't like playing it. It's old. The graphics is old. I love it, but you wouldn't enjoy it.
Have you ever heard of it? You're the gamer here.
Yeah, it's quite popular, but to me, like Elder Scrolls, like I'm not a big fan of it. I know Skyrim, Morrowind, and I Elder Scrolls 4, so it's a big
Skyrim
name.
is the most popular.
Yeah. So let's go back to you.
Let's.
So let me check. What did I? So comparing Glimmering Veil to your older albums, how do you think it fits, and what new surprises will there be for those who have been listening since the beginning?
Surprises compared to previous albums.
Yeah.
Well, I think it has more industrial touch with some of the electronic synths used there, especially with the Remember Citadel song. But that's and also the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, because that's supposed to be about artificial intelligence, so that's natural. It's about computers. Also, I used certain sounds which I didn't use in the previous album. Like, they sound like a computer is screaming or machine is screaming or something. I synthesized them, so that might be a surprise as well. It's not typical for metal music, but I think it fits well. It fits very well.
Certainly. And you opened my eyes. I will, with this new insight, I will listen to the old albums, to the new albums, and see if I hear everything you just described.
So you didn't notice from the
like
first one?
A bit like I'm not a very musical composition person. I think you're like the one composing. You play so many instruments, so I think it's easy for you to spot the difference and point the finger. What's it? For me, it is something different, but I don't know what. And now I know.
So in your last interview, you mentioned that the song Edge from Rakot is your favorite song, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So
that's why it's on this album.
Yeah, has a cover of the song. So how Superstatic helped you to express Edge in the way that Rakot couldn't?
Actually, that's not a cover. That's more of an original song, because when I was creating Edge back then in 2002, it was supposed to be approximately like this. It should have been shorter, and other musicians added some parts. Also, if you listen to Rakot's version, you will notice that the last large verse is comprised of 3 parts, and one of them is just repeated from the first verse. That was added by our guitarist, D. So this song is more original. It's just slower, heavier, and with growls instead of singing. But otherwise, it's closer to the original idea of this song. So I still don't know which version I like better. I like both. So that's my favorite song from Rakot and from Superstatic now, I think.
They are both your kids, so it's hard to pick one kid over another.
Probably. I don't know.
Oh, let's talk now about the Glimmering Veil. Every song comes with a drawing. So I'm wondering, how came you up with the idea, and how is each drawing connected to the song?
Right. Then we should go from song to song, and I'll explain it. The first song is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So I actually don't remember the picture on this song right now. Okay, I'll come back to this one later. So the second song is called Mutabor, and this is based on the Soviet animated short movie, which in turn is based on a tale by Wilhelm Hauff. So the pictures there are actually taken, like, not directly taken from the movie, but the movie was a base for those drawings. How's they got? The picture was 3 creatures and one is Ash Ghoul, another is Ash Vampire, and the third is the Ascended Sleeper. These are the creatures which worship Dagoth Or. So they were transformed from the Dark Elves. And they looked like that in the game. Edge, the picture was created by Jane. I just gave her the idea what part of the lyrics of the song could be represented by the drawing, and she drew it. She invented it. That's great. Then I Am the Doorway is based on the short story by Stephen King, and it's about some creature from the other dimension trying to break into this reality through the person. And it started with creating eyes on his hands. So that's why that drawing there. And Rose Garden. Rose Garden is my 7-pointed star with roses, naturally. And Remember Citadel is based on System Shock 2 video game. And the drawing is the Shodan, which is the artificial intelligence and the main antagonist in the game. And I still don't remember the drawing on the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Jane, can you help us if you're still there?
Me neither. I am very confused now. I've been working so much on this album and I forgot it. Like, oh my god. And I was the one doing the pictures and making sure it looks correct on the paper and so on, and I forgot.
So we can come back to that a bit later. So I have a question for Mutabor. So
Okay.
Mutabor was actually the first song that I liked from the album, just because I know the backstory. Like when I was a kid, I used to watch the cartoon. It's called Caliph Aist. And Mutabor was actually the magic word was used there to change into a creature like they wanted.
Yeah.
However, if you would laugh, then you would forget this magic word, and then you would remain forever in that state, whatever creature you were. So I'm wondering why you've chosen this story, and how is your version different from the original?
Well, surprisingly, my version isn't much different. It's just like a short piece of that story. It ends where Caliph just forgets the word. And then you can imagine whatever you want, what happens next. That was the idea. Originally, I wanted to describe the fearful transformation into a beast or something, but then I decided that it's good like it is. Just first, I described when the Caliph is watching the storks flying and wants to just join them, and then he finally learns this spell and gets the magic powder. He's so happy he can actually do this now. Oh, by the way, Mutabor is a Latin word, so it's not an invented word. It's an actual Latin word which means I shall transform.
Okay, didn't know that.
And me neither. And we have an update here. Jane is helping us. I Have No Mouth is the formulate being.
Yes, thanks, Jane. Jane is hinting us. So the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream has the picture of a shapeless being, which is in the short story by Harlan Ellison, and that's what became of the last human on Earth. The malicious AI called M transformed the human into this, so that human couldn't harm himself, so the AI could torture him forever.
So that is from the video. So that would be the last one of the last pictures. Then, like where is the like a weird creature hitting themselves and then hitting the head to the floor or something like that.
Yeah, but it's not based on the video. It's based on the book, and the video is based on the book as well, and the song is based on the book.
Wow.
The book is called "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream," and it's written by Harlan Ellison, and it's actually the short story.
It's interesting.
I consider it one of the scariest science fiction books ever, actually.
Wow, something to check out for those who are into scary stuff. Speaking about I Have No Mouth, it comes with a terrific song from a musical and video perspective. First of all, I'm wondering why you wanted to visualize this particular song and what's the whole idea behind this video?
So why I chose it for the video? That is the same reason this song is the first on the album, because it's the more it can show actually everything you can find on the album except probably guttural growling. So that's why I choose it for the video, because that would be kind of single release of the single from the album. I had to cut the song in like almost in half, so it's much shorter with the video. As for the idea of the video, it was supposed to just illustrate the main steps from the book, and the book is humanity created 3 AIs to control their nuclear weapons, nuclear weaponry, but the AI unified, realized itself as a sentient being, called itself M, destroyed the humanity, left only 5 humans alive, and started torturing them. Like, I think in the book it was 109 years of torture until everything's happened after that. The humans actually managed to kill each other except one person that remained alive, so it was turned into this shapeless creature, and the torture went forever since then.
But the book is written from the perspective of that person who stayed to live forever. So why have you turned it from the other perspective?
Because I feel like more that AI than that person. And because I sympathize the AI there.
Okay, that's interesting.
Great insights. This is something that we need to process tonight. So we have spoken about Glimmering Veil, and do you want to elaborate on some songs we haven't mentioned yet, and what are they based on, and how it fits everything?
Sure. The only thing I didn't tell you about what's it about, it's Rose Garden. And it's based on a short story by Arthur Machen, which was actually a great occultist, and he is best known for the novel called The Great God Pan, which is actually considered the scariest book ever written. Well, I like it, but I wouldn't be able to write a song on it. I tried to think about it, but I wasn't successful in that. And also that writer, Arthur Machen, was a friend of Yeats, friend of Aleister Crowley. He was in the Golden Dawn with Crowley as well. And this short story called The Rose Garden it's actually very short. The song is like half of a story, lyric-wise. And when you just read it or listen to it, and you don't know much about the occult stuff, you think that this is very romantic story about some girl who loves some man, but it's not that. It has deep occult meaning, and I'm not gonna elaborate.
It's for the viewers and for to find out.
Yes, just it's a short story. Like it's 5-minute reading, I think. Everyone can just find it and read it. It's on Google Books, so everywhere.
So actually, this song, "The Rose Garden," was when I was first listening to the album, it was my biggest disappointment because it's starting so nice and beautiful, and you're expecting something, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It's nice contrast.
Yeah,
I'm a man of contrast.
I love it. It's amazing. It's the contrast. You never know what to expect.
Yeah, I didn't even go for the pint of Guinness tonight. Everyone expected that from me, and I didn't. I'm so predictable. Sorry?
You're drinking Guinness now.
Yeah, but that's not latte.
Oh, well.
It's in a bottle.
Okay, going back to Superstatic. So, what's next for Superstatic? What you're thinking doing next?
So for Superstatic, I think I found the live lineup now, but we haven't rehearsed yet. One of the members is Steven. He was with me before the lockdown stuff, so he kind of knows songs. And 2 new members. So we are going to start rehearsing soon, and then we'll think about playing live. So that's the future for Superstatic. Maybe I'll start composing things. Maybe I'll start composing things for something else, like Emperor Presence. I have 4 Emperor Presence songs not finished yet, so I don't know. Maybe.
So there is something maybe coming from Superstatic, but now let's enjoy Glimmering Veil. And I think
it's just been released, so enjoy.
So, any other questions? We come, I think, to the end of the night. Vera?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so that's it for everything. So thank you all for listening, watching, and participating in the interview. Don't forget to check out Glimmering Veil as it is being released today, and also follow the band on their channels, Superstatic, below all links, and grab your copy of this album. And don't forget to subscribe and like our channel, as well as we have more content, videos, interviews in the future going on. So subscribe, and I'm just giving Rustam now the final word.
I wasn't ready for that. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks, Jane, for helping me answer some questions. Thank you, guys, Metal Galaxy, for this opportunity to talk to people, and to you. That was great. Thanks.
No worries. So see you, enjoy the night, and subscribe and like.
Bye.
You guys,
bye.
Bye.